Hola. Bienvenidos a la clase de hoy.
Hello. Welcome to today's class. I'm Valentina, your AI-generated Spanish instructor. I'm here to help you learn to speak and understand Spanish just like a native Spanish speaker. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that has become increasingly popular in our digital world, internet slang in Spanish. But before we get started, I have a very special offer for you. If you are sick and tired of using apps that make you sound like a gringo whenever you speak Spanish, and you want to speak and understand Spanish just like a native speaker, in the description of this video you'll find the link to get free access to learning Spanish like crazy, the original version. And you can get this app absolutely free with a trial subscription to Audible. As technology advances, our communication methods continue to evolve, and this includes the use of shorthand and abbreviations in our online conversations. So, let's dive right in and explore some common internet slang in Spanish. These are some abbreviations that you might come across frequently.
TKM. TQM.
These abbreviations stand for
Te quiero mucho.
which means, I love you. In Spanish, there are two ways to say I love you, which are
Te amo. Te quiero.
For example, you can text your special ones with
Te quiero mucho mi amor. XFA.
This stands for
Porfa.
which is short for
Por favor.
meaning please. The
Por.
is replaced with an X. For example, you can say
Porfa, ayúdame con esto. NTP.
this stands for
No te preocupes.
meaning don't worry in an informal way. For example, you can say
No te preocupes. ¿Todo va a salir bien? CDT.
this stands for
Cuídate.
which translates to take care in English. For example, you can say
Cuídate, nos vemos pronto. BN.
this stands for
Bien.
which means good. For example, you can say
Estoy bien, gracias por preguntar. PQ. XQ.
these abbreviations all represent the word
¿Por qué?
which means why. As you may know, there are actually 4 different ways to spell
¿Por qué?
in Spanish. However, in the world of texting, these subtle nuances are often overlooked. So, these are all used interchangeably to mean.
¿Por qué?
For example, you can say
No puedo salir porque tengo mucho trabajo. TMD.
this stands for
También.
which means also or too. It's similar to the English abbreviation to, as in me too. For example, you can say
Quiero ir al cine también.
Before moving on, make sure you click that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, and then click the notifications bell.
VDD.
This stands for
Verdad.
which means true. For example, you can say
Eso es verdad. No lo puedo creer. Mazo.
this stands for
Más o menos.
which means more or less. It can also be typed using symbols like plus or minus. For example, you can say
La película estuvo mazo. QN.
this stands for
¿Quién?
which means who. For example, you can say
¿Quién viene a la fiesta? ATTE.
this stands for
Atentamente.
which means attentively or thoughtfully. It's also often used as a closing in formal or professional emails or letters. For example, you can say
Atentamente, Valentina Pérez. Estoy de vacas.
This is an abbreviation of
Estoy de vacaciones.
which means I am on vacation. For example, you can say,
No puedo asistir a la reunión, estoy de vacas. MUXO.
this stands for,
Mucho.
which means a lot. For example, you can say,
Te extraño mucho. TONS.
this abbreviation stands for,
Entonces.
which means so, or a then. For example, you can say,
Vamos al cine, entonces.
remember, while these abbreviations are commonly used in online conversations, it's important to adapt your language to the context and audience. It's always a good idea to use proper spelling and grammar when communicating formally or in professional settings. However, in informal conversations or when texting with friends, using these internet slang abbreviations can make your conversations more fun. That's it for today's lesson on internet slang in Spanish. I hope you found it useful. Before you go, I want to remind you that I have a very special offer for you. If you are sick and tired of using apps that make you sound like a gringo whenever you speak Spanish, and you want to speak and understand Spanish just like a native Spanish speaker, in the description of this video you will find the link to get access to learning Spanish like crazy, the original version. And you can get this app absolutely free with a trial subscription to Audible. So click the link in the description and get your free copy of Learning Spanish Like Crazy, the original version.
Muy buena suerte. Y recuerda, la práctica hace al maestro. Hasta la próxima.